presenters or panelists, you're most welcome. We started on Thursday, and we really had a very good day yesterday, and we are also hoping that today we'll have a good day. And let me go straight to our first session this morning. Is actually on implementing sustainable, accountable, transparent, and ethical practices in Malawi's procurement and supply chains. And this is actually going to be done by none other than our own Prof, Professor Joseph Mfuso Bengo. Let's put our hands together for Prof. He's a professor of bioethics and behavior studies and director of the Center of Excellence in Ethics and Governance, working with Kuhes. Now it's Kuhes. Maina Maswara, Mupasi, Kuhesi, nice names. Yeah, right. Ofrega Naso Mavasa Maina Menawe. Kuhesi, Bengo. Let's put our hands together for Prof. And he's making his way here. Please, Prof. So you can either choose to be here or you can actually, being a teacher, I know you would rather move around with the microphone.
So, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So I have taken seriously about the name Christ my chapter. Of course, I like it. So thank you very much for the invitation. I value this a lot. Today we are going to share about good procurement practice through investment in moral capital. Before I start, okay. Malawi finds itself as many African countries. If you know that in the past we were being guided, our life was being guided by, influenced by taboos, what inner controls, traditional customs, etc. We didn't have organized systems, formal systems, what we call external controls. We found that with time, many African countries, including Malawi, especially African countries, they are losing those internal controls. Umuntu, we can call it umuntu, something which stops you to do something which is not for the common good. And at the same time, we are not even modern, because modern times, you have to depend on social contract. Social contract is that if you sign something, you agree on it, it is done. Here, at the moment, in Malawi, you can buy land, you sign. Tomorrow, even if you are not putting a wall, it will be sold again. So we're neither traditional or modern. We're finding ourselves in what we call a dangerous place called uncommitted middle. So if you take our friends in Europe, they have lost the internal control, but they have compensated it with external controls. So they've got strong governance system. Strong system, you tighten the system, you're out. Whether you're a leader, you start a system, you're out. Us, we haven't compensated that. We're losing more. Asians, they're doing well. They're Chinese. Singapore, they are maintaining both. Japan for them. You see, Japanese have kept their culture. At the same time, they are from. So if you go to Malawi anthem, you see also, I like Malawi anthem because Malawian anthem actually described when Camus came here with his team. They were very observant. They understood who is a Malawi. And they identified several things which were there. Lack of unity, because people, when the white people came, they divided us according to tribe. We had inferiority complex because we were oppressed. There was colonialism. So you see fear, things like that, hunger, disease, envy. And that envy is a big deal in many African countries, including Malawi. It can actually arrest Again, we need to understand that we need to go, because we need to start where we started. Kamuzu put 4 cornerstones. After 1994, we threw away the 4 cornerstones and we replaced them with the culture of entitlement. The transition from one-party democracy, one-party dictatorship to democracy was not done well. We did, the systems were there, but we're not transformative we didn't keep the moral spirit of Malawians. If you look at the Asians, I always compare the Asians, because these ones, if we are not careful, the whole world, they are taking the whole world. Because they are managing the two, the external controls and the internal controls. Japan, China, Singapore, you see Thailand, they are doing the same. And you see that even the training was based on the 3 pillars: knowledge, attitude, and skills. Now, after 94, in the universities, we concentrated on knowledge and skills, and we forgot the attitude. So what role Ubuntu will play? What Ubuntu will teach us is that the professional competence is not the same as moral competence. That's why if you go to Ubuntu, the philosophy, what we call ontology, the study of Ubuntu, says, I am because we are, therefore I am. And they say, who is a human person according to Ubuntu philosophy? According to Ubuntu philosophy, it means the biological requirement of being a human being is necessary, but it's not the cause of being human. You can look like a human being, but if you do not have the spirit of a human being, the villagers and the Malawian culture say, Uyusimuntu. So there's negation. So it means a Muntu is not the way, it's not the outlook. It's not only the outlook, it's the spirit within, behind the outlook. Because according to our culture, spirits can wear the mask. They can wear the mask of a lion, isn't it? Of a hyena, or they can even wear the mask of a human being. So this is very important. So what does it mean then? That's why in the village, ask my grandfather before he died. I asked him when I was starting my period. I said, who is a Muntu? So they said, when a person, a Muntu should have 3 things. Should have knowledge, should have attitude, should have skills. Then they said, if a person has got skills, knowledge, he knows how to cook, to build a house, but doesn't have Umuntu, they say, hey, it's Kirongo. It's Uyusimuntu. But if you have a good heart, but you don't have the knowledge and skills, how much is there? So these are the men who goes in the village and women grab hands for them, and they can say, oh, Amunang. They know that those people, they don't have any teeth. So these are the ones in the village, people grab hands for them. So I just wanted to share with you that, again, we shall talk about what is moral capital, the different types of capital. Yes, people know about human capital, social capital, natural capital, natural resources. But people forgot moral capital. Moral capital actually is the first capital. It's the key. Africa is becoming behind, is lagging behind, not because of natural capital, we have diamonds and gold, lack of money. It's because we are lacking the moral capital. We have got a lot of social capital, but we don't have the moral capital. So we need to move to integrate this. I just wanted to, I will not take time on this, but let's just understand the difference. What is ethics? Because now we are talking about ethics. Ethics is an objective assessment of morality itself. It's a study which is the rationality, the rationale of wearing a trouser in a country where there's mosquito. Actually, it's rational to wear a trouser in a country like Malawi. So that's why ethics. So morality is different from ethics. Ethics is a study of morality, and morality is actually in that context is a rightness, wrongness, goodness, badness of an action, omission, motivation. So that's why don't mix that thing. That's why ethics, as they said, is it a good judgment? Is it right judgment? Ethics can even go to a judicial decision by courts and say, is it right what you have done? Is it good decision? Ethically. Legally it can be okay, but ethically, is it good? So, when we talk about monocapital, we're talking about the three things. When you have got three things, knowledge for your profession, right attitude for your profession, and skills of your protection, that is monocapital. If you have got only knowledge and skills, that's human capital. But if you have got the three, that's where monocapital is. And the attitude here is not just any attitude. The attitude of a priest is different from the attitude and the virtues or the characters of a policeman. So this is it is appropriate values you have for that particular profession. So a doctor has got a particular values, and a soldier has got a particular. So moral capital says it's a right combination of values in your context, in your profession, complemented with expected knowledge and expected skills. Failure to invest in moral capital is costly, and as costly, actually, if you look at procurement, cost effectiveness, you can understand that the higher the development, the developed answers. If you look at, just coming from Germany, the way people try to minimize costs. You go to a shop, you find that people from the company, they try to minimize, to make sure that they can negotiate, people negotiate for a better price for their companies. But in the developing countries, it's the opposite. You find that it is actually the cost of doing business is higher than the cost of doing business and those who are already rich. It's actually, I always give the example. You are in a house, you are a parent, and one of the child, you want to buy a bag of maize. And one of the child, you have said Julius to buy a bag of maize at his city. And Julius goes there and negotiated with the people who are selling maize. How much to sell this bag of maize? I will sell 20,000. Just add another 5,000. We can share the two, and then now we'll go, and you take, instead of buying 20,000, you buy 25. You go back to your house, and you say, I've bought a maize. Is this the national best? And that's what we're doing in the developing countries. We are hitting our mothers, we are hitting our father. The mother is a country, Malawi. And what we are doing, in the competitive world, we are lagging behind. I was in China. They were telling us the history of Lenovo, how Lenovo started. They took 3 professors from Africa to study the development of China. So I was privileged to be one of them. So they took us into the village. A person who was tending a desert to agricultural Arab land. And you ask them, why are you doing this? Because he said, we are competing with America. Somebody in a village. He sees himself not in his family alone, he sees himself as competing with the whole world. Very patriotic. He thinks we have to be number one. We almost cried because we say this is not what happens to us. We don't identify with a nation. We identify with our culture, our people. You seen one, but soon you see one carrying the chopper things around and like that. But that's what we identify ourselves. But it is very important to see, to understand that there's a competition for resources, for human resources. We are already seeing, even in the medical profession, the world is becoming one. And resources, if you don't protect the resource, if you don't protect your job, other person will come and take it. There's a competition. I just wanted, before we move, let's move on to the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution, it's a now concept which is already, people are talking about it. We are, in medicine, for example, there's a, we have found what called SC99, Casper 9, that they can edit the genes. They can actually produce, you can decide what kind of a person you want to produce. There's a lot of, you can actually go to a disease and cut the sickness. We are moving toward that. There's a lot of technology. In the ICT, 4G, now we're talking about 5G. They're talking about, Chinese are talking about 6G. I just wanted to say, in this, I will read, we stand on the brink of technological revolution that will fundamentally alter the way we live, work, and relate to one another. In its scale, scope, complexity, transformation will be unlike anything humankind has experienced. We do not yet know just how it will unfold. But one thing it is clear, the response to it must be integrated and comprehensive. And I think we need to prepare for it. If we're not, we will be left behind. Another thing one we have to prepare yourself and ourselves is ethically. I will tell you why. In this time, one, the power is not going to the masses, it's going to one person. One person in his room can press a button, a drone, and kill a lot. One person in himself, you have seen now what is happening with Russia. He said Russia has got the biggest numbers of nuclear missiles than any other countries. They're saying, okay, you mess with me, Putin, you mess with me, I'll own you, I own you, I own you. That man, it is as if a joke, anytime it can happen. He has got power in him, everybody knows. Information, somebody can use the information to destroy a nation. One person can say, can just make a lie, or vaccines is bad, or something is bad, don't take it. The whole, even educated people will fall. So we are living in a dangerous world where power is being concentrated in the hands of few, even those who do not have power. So there were four steps in the fourth industrial revolution. The first step was when there was a discovery of those water and steam engines and all that. That was that time. And the second one, we found it electricity and mass production. And the fourth one, and then you see each one had corresponding human resource. So in the steam engine, you needed manpower, muscles. So the more they will count even the mining. Many Malawians go to mine, they will say who's strong. They will see the strong people eating sima. There were strong people coming from Malawi. The Nyasa, they will say, this one. They will go to the mine. Malawi had competitive advantage. That's why in East Africa, where every mine, everywhere, where there's a mine, you see somebody who has got a Malawian descent, including my grandfather. So this is very important to understand. Manpower. Manpower is the key. We move to the second electricity, then we're talking about knowledge and skills. Very important. That is the time where human resource also, people start talking about human resource. The third level is what we call caste level. Is knowledge, attitude, skills. This is a level where now you see that the technology is adding more power and has got more impact on human beings. The last one, you see the beginning was knowledge. So you find that 1994, if you see Ghana and the South Korea, Ghana was richer than South Korea. But now, because of knowledge, they invested in knowledge. People say knowledge is power. But now, in the fourth industrial revolution, they are talking about that's my theory, I'm talking about asking. Not class, knowledge, attitude, and skills, it has changed. I'm talking about the period of asking. Attitude, knowledge, and skills. And then we'll see why. I've already explained, I will not go to that. In the global forum, everybody knows the World Economic Forum or Business Forum, they asked them to say, can you list what are the top jobs in the coming 10 years? The top CEOs of the world, big company, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, and all that, they gather together and say, we're asked to say, who is the employer of the future? They were talking about 2022 going onwards. This was the answer. Number one, they were talking about AI, machine learning specialists. Number two, digital procurement, strategy, and specialization. So procurement was one of the top. I was wondering to say, wow, procurement is, you made a choice, a good choice. You made a good choice. And that is part of moral capital. Ability to know what is in and what is out, where can I survive and that. So the first one, and you see that supply chain, there's also supply chain and the logistical, that is also, but you find the others have become redundant. One of them is postal service, sales marketing. I don't know sales representative. In the past, when we were young, they were able to see people with briefcase wearing nice. They were calling sales representatives. Some of them know them by name. So, but that I don't see them anymore. People talking about selling. So there are some jobs which are dying down. And if you look at the ranking of the skills, you find, actually, when I say we have now started ask period, attitude, you find that 70% of those skills which were put, the first one, they are all to do with attitude. Or were to do with attitude. So problem solving, ability to learn, analytical thinking, critical thinking, reasoning, problem solving, creativity, emotional intelligence, troubleshooting, etc. So if you look at you divide them, you find that actually these CEOs have discovered we want in our company people who are ethical. Not only a competence. Because some of the complicated things, I just give an example. In surgery, for example, in Western countries, complicated surgery is done by robots. They are the best surgeons in the world now. They are actually replacing humans. So if you look to your right, you find that the knowledge base is technology design, technology use, monitoring, coordination, and all that. And you see the whole 1 to 10 are to do with attitude. So if you look at the post-knowledge society, I'll call it post-knowledge society, it was emphasizing on moral capital, on human resource. When you go and comparative advantage was knowledge and skills. If you go to the post-knowledge society, you find that they are stressing on the right attitude. And you know, this is where to go. So there's no other profession which this requires right attitude and professionalism and ethical behavior as procurement and chain management. If you look at Malawi, you can divide in Malawi into three. So session there was before 1994, the recent and the opportunities. If you look at before 1994, when I was going to Germany as a student, going to Europe, I passed through England, and I could stay in England. My passport, my Malawian passport, could allow me to stay in England 6 months without a visa. So I passed from Uganda, I went to England, and I found that in England I didn't need a visa. Then from there I went to Germany. Germany, I didn't need a visa. It was one of the top best passports in the world, in Africa. After 94, we started selling the passports. Now, Malawi is being squeezed. Now it's only Hong Kong. Ireland, 5 years ago, Ireland has cancelled. We are now being squeezed slowly. We are losing the moral capital. I remember also the moral capital. I've got two brothers. They went, one studied accounting, another one is an engineer. They went to South Africa. And then there was, I think it was 1995. There was interviews. There were a lot of interviews, and they wanted a senior accountant for agricultural institute. And there was a policy to have the South African black government said wanted black. Whether they're coming from anywhere, we don't care. But they were put in a room there. There were many black people came. Because South African men were not yet educated. So the one man who was interviewing, who was ordered to do interview, just said, "Are there Malawians here?" So my brother raised another one also. And they say, "Follow me." So they followed him. And they say, "Can I see your documents?" They saw their documents. And they went back to the crowd. They said, "Go back." That was the way they were employed. The moral capital. The moral capital. It is not social capital. Moral capital, which we have lost. We have lost. If you go to Cape Town, rich area, you find all people who are keeping the nuns and the houseboys. That we're not talking houseboys without a car. Houseboys who can drive. In that area, you go, they say, "Oh, the Malawian, I know that I will not keep him or keep her. They will not kill me." Now Malawians are starting killing. You have heard sometimes some of them, they're in the newspaper. But usually, even now you go there, you find that there was a social capital niche which Malawians had in South Africa, but we're losing it. I just wanted to say, even the peace, the RPC index is higher. If you see global peace, even now, we haven't lost much, but we are losing it each day. What would be Malawi? Poor and yet not peaceful. What would mean of Malawi? Poor and not peaceful. Now the moral capital which still attracts other people, invest in peace, their home heart. If we destroy that, where are we? So the loss of I just wanted, I will not, because of time, why do we need procurement ethics? All organizations face risk and misconduct and illegal behavior. Procurement can be legal but unethical. Procurement can be both legal and ethical. Unethical behavior can lead to litigation. And we know that also an unethical procurement is contrary to a country. So I just wanted to say we need to be, if we we want Malawi to grow. I'll give you an example in the Bengo area. Instead of building one, I forgot, when I was in China, they told us that for hospitals, schools, there was a ruling to say, I don't know whether they've changed, it had to be built within 1 year. Then we asked why 1 year, they said, we don't want to subject ourselves, our people, one day more. This is the lady that said, we don't want to subject our people one day more. So for them, if you instead of procuring money for 2 hospitals, you spend on 1, you are subjecting people. We are subjecting people. In a country where people are still moving barefoot, we are subjecting people, masses, one day more in poverty. 1 day more in poverty. 1 day more in being a laughing stock of the world. When you are here, you are in a cave. When you go outside and stay, not just a visit, but stay in a country for, I remember when I was in Germany, when we were discussing our students, and they say, oh, let's discuss about the Africa development. When I tried to raise my hand, that you could see my professor moving, go to another one from Switzerland, from Africa. If somebody from South Africa, come here, yes, can you answer? Because they were saying, what is this man from Malawi? Then he had to tell us about development. It was a shock. For me, I started becoming angry on my own country to say, now we lose the respect. Even when you go to the General Assembly, when the American president is talking, it's full assembly. When African leaders are talking, it's half empty. They are talking to each other, even to their own cabinet ministers. We lose respect. Because according to mythology, a person who cannot cook, who cannot make his own house, cheated. That's how in the village they said, a person who do not know how to feed himself. What kind of? So you don't have this. So I just wanted to. That is a fact. And we need a mindset change. I just wanted to give you this bigger picture because it is it's used everywhere. You find that Africa, Europe looks bigger on this map because they have got superiority complex. They trust themselves, but the actual picture is that Africa, Europe is so small. It is fitting in Africa. So even the people were making the map, they actualize using imagination to know as our status, our inferiority complex, how we think about ourselves. To the point we have even accepted this map. So there are many benefits of good procurement practice. And I think I just want to go to the radar of value place. I have to talk about a type of decision making because of time. There are different types of decision. I will come at the end with the app I've developed in decision making. I've discovered that decisions are key. And now in the whole world they're talking about decision science. It's one of the best subjects globally. If you are good in decision science, you get a job anywhere. Decision science, even Google is using decision science. When you are talking about, when you type something marketing in the Google type, you see a lot of things about marketing. They are doing it based on preferences. So decisions matters. Decisions are key. The ones who are able to use decisions, to make decisions timely, cost effectively, that country is going forward. And Germans are good in that. So there are different decisions, but I've come with what I call value and evidence-based decision and practice. That decision should be influenced by values of your profession and the evidence. I call it very much. And I think this is the highest level of decision making. These values can be spiritual, can be what, but it is values which so also want to go this. I wanted to talk about this woman, this man called Alejo Sison, whom I admire. He wrote, I decided thinking, right, I wrote a book which I think I've shared about bioethics and moral capital. And I'm the one, I was really impressed. He said, no amount of human intellectual social capital could make up for the lack of moral capital among the workers, students, for the long-term term success of enterprise. He wrote this when a huge company called Enron, $400 billion company, collapsed in America. And that's why it was a movement that people realized that not only knowledge and skills are needed, but they start talking about business ethics. And myself, I said, it's not only the morality, but this character, this can also all mean moral capital is the excellence of character, of possession or practice, of host of virtues appropriate for human being within a particular or culture. So for me, I just say, the fact that you are good is not enough. Your values should be aligned to your institution values. Another one who said Albert Einstein, most people say that it is intellectual. This is the one who discovered atomic bomb. But he said, no, they are wrong. It's character. So, what we can summarize that technical competences we have to be complemented by moral competences. If you look at Ubuntu pillars, I want just to say Ubuntu pillars: expected knowledge, right attitudes, expected skills. Right attitude here is a combination of virtues appropriate for a particular social, economic, professional context. So, what are the values for procurement profession? You have to come to know what are the values. Independence, fairness, integrity, neutral. There are certain values which you have to be a good, so the same as the values which makes a good priest or a reverend. So, as I said it, if you look at different steps of moral capital, there's natural resource and other, but the one which is forgotten is a moral capital. And we are making a mistake. So if you look at Ubuntu, in our country, there's a right combination of features which make us Malawi. For example, we have a hospital of heart disease. We are certain visitors, they say, oh, when I'm in Malawi, I just feel good. I just feel welcome. Honest, discipline, responsiveness, hard working. These were part of the Ubuntu virtues. So I will go to what Mandela says. I will talk about moral capital is moral power. Because when you have got moral power is to influence others because of your moral standing. And one of the person who had moral power is Mandela. With moral power, you are remembered even when you are gone. Among all powers, so I'll read, moral power can become a moral brand worth billions, and you know that Mandela has built a $1 billion industry on Mandela t-shirts, Mandela charity, and all that. It's over 1 billion. And actually, South Africa is busy slashing that image of Mandela as a country which was a moral country. Now it's becoming a dangerous country. Another thing is that apart from being a business, for example, by using moral capital, moral power and status, he managed to persuade both white and blacks to reconcile. People take it for granted. People are still fighting in Palestine and Israel because they don't have individuals who can reconcile. And in South Africa, you know that there was opposition among the ANC. If Mandela was not there, there would be civil war. Those who have gained moral power have moral authority even after death. I just want to say, you cannot do business without being honest. You cannot do business without being, there cannot be contracts if there's trust. And if we are not careful, if we undermine this, we are undermining the ease of doing business. I'll talk about 4 pillars. I'm now finalizing it. 4 pillars. 4 factors influencing moral capital in business. It's leadership, ethics, governance, and system. I did this when I was looking at in the health sector. I would say, why we are using the WHO building blocks? Why the health organization building blocks? There were 6 building blocks. Why are they failing in Africa? You know, I look at it, 4 things were coming when I see second data review. Leadership, ethics, governance, system. Then I came with a framework called LEGS framework. LEGS framework, you see, it means you need the leadership, ethics, and governance to run a system. Procurement system. This is the foundation. Leadership, ethics, and governance are a foundation for a system. However, you need the legs. So you need a leg to run a system or a healthcare, but you need legs to implement your policy to practice. This is very, very important. And then we shall see where the legs, if you look at the legs, you'll be also ranking what comes first, what comes last, where. I divide the world into 2, system-based society and community-based society. In the system-based society, system matters. Governance matters. In the community-based society, a leader matters. It's about life and death. Because a leader is a system. So the choice of a leader, I'm not talking about only a political leader, from anywhere, from companies, investors, a leader matter. Procurement leaders matter. Community-based society, ethical leadership and ethical matters more than compliance. Leadership and social networks, leadership matter more than systems and governance. Internal control and external controls are often influenced by good leadership. So in our context, Malawi and developing many African countries are community-based society. So it's a leader. That's why we are lucky. We are blessed because if you have got a good leader like what happened in Rwanda, within a short time things can move. But if you have got a bad leader, within a short, what happened in Rwanda, another leader comes, within 3 years, it can destroy it. While in the system-based society, things are slow, but they are predictable. They are stable. You can actually plan. But change in any system-based society takes slow. It's very slow. But the problem with that's the advantage. The disadvantage of community-based society is that when you have a bad leader, then things can also go wrong. We have seen that in the system-based society, what matters is not the social contract. And what they have done is that the external controls are stronger than internal controls. So they don't care what you believe. The Germans, they don't care what you believe. What they care is, you have signed this, make sure that you comply to it. If you don't comply, regardless whether you are a leader or what, you will be punished. You tie a system, you're gone. So if you look at the ranking, the Rex framework, you find that in community-based system, leadership and ethics comes top. In system-based society like German, you find systems and governance. So in system-based society, you go SGR. And we have said that for them, what they have done is they have compensated the loss of moral capital with external controls. But many African countries are in an uncommitted people because they don't have the moral capital, but of the internal controls, but also they have not embraced fully the external controls, governance, good governance. Now the question is, what do system-based society still need moral capital? Because total control, social control in a democratic world is impossible. You cannot control every person. That's why you are dependent on scam. There are certain areas where a law cannot reach. That's why I give this picture. You see the yellow part is the conscience. The conscience is only you know. The blue one is external control. The yellow and blue, this is the area where it's both internal and external control. That's where the Asians are. The blue one is where many white people are. And we find ourselves in a very awkward place. So it's very important to understand there are places where the law cannot reach. This is the yellow one, where the conscience is. No one knows. There are places where you can do something wrong and the law will not catch you. You will not catch you. You can even plan not to be caught. You can actually advise somebody, go and kill that one. And you're not right. And the person who kills is caught. They will not, that man, where is evidence? So you can plan to do evil without being caught. It's part of the evil network. That the more evil you become, it becomes even difficult to be caught. The innocent ones are easily caught. The innocent are easily caught. It's actually very unfortunate. But the real bad people, they plan even to do bad. They don't do it emotionally. They plan. If you see those even thieves, they want to attack a bank. In South Africa, when you see this, it's a bad way of doing things. So I just wanted to give you the picture that there's a difference between professionalism and professional integrity. So professional integrity, if you see, the yellow one is the professional integrity. It's when you are professional integrity is when you have integrated internal controls and external controls. So you are doing things not because you are afraid of the law of your company, but you are doing it because you want to do good. Where professionalism, you are to comply based on fear of your guidelines. So we need to move from professionalism to professional integrity. So these are the tools of decision making. I will just go quickly. This is the final slide. I've got one or two slides now. There's a Bengo report. This is a principles of ethics. There is a Joseph Fletcher. I just want to share with you. How can you make an ethical decision? So the first one is the Bengo report. It talks about three: beneficence, respect, and justice. So beneficence is that whatever you do, it comes from Latin called benefacia, produce good. Whatever you do, you have to maximize good to maximum number of people at minimum harm or cost. So maximizing good to maximum number of people at the minimum cost, harm. That we also will tell to the doctors. They said that it's respect of persons and procedures. The human dignity, that's the second. The third one, where the social contract comes, the third one, you're talking about justice, fairness. The second one, you told Joseph Fletcher. Joseph Fletcher is what we call ethics in the pocket. I've got 4 things. We're going to see 4 things. When you want to make decisions, you have to have 4 things. So I just wanted to, Joseph Fletcher, first of all, you have to ask yourself, what is your motivation for what you're doing? 2, what is your goal? 3, the means you want to achieve for your goal. Your motivation, the means you are taking. Your goal, the consequence. If all of the 4 are right, it's a right decision. Frank Navran talks about 3 tests. I've added 2. Talks about whatever you do, think about it is 3 things. What is your conscience saying about it? What is your authority? If it is authority here, we're talking about professional authority, legal authority. What is your authority saying about it? And the second one, the third one, what would the public say if they hear it? And about the 4th one, what is the law saying? And the 5th one, if you are a believer, what is God saying about what you want to do? So, I'm finishing, then I'll go to the app, which will take only 10 minutes. Malawi needs a MAMO track, which is moral transformation program. We need, in this context, to come with a clear procurement ethics. There's a need organization to come with moral capital audit. Audit is just to say what is, it's not punitive, just what is failing us as a group. What is failing, it's anonymous. To audit, what are things which we need to improve? This audit understand that human beings are not perfect. We need also to do cultural audit. What is the curriculum being used for our children in the village for initiation? We should come with ethics. The editors can be left around the people to do, but we should come with a standardized initiation cultural curriculum where we ought to impart knowledge. Notice the place where communities are imparting knowledge. We need to be part of it and to say we respect the secrecy and the rituals which are surrounding these initiation ceremonies. But we want to take this and those people to guide them to say, can you come together and have the curriculum which can help to transform. Another thing is Malawi should have a moral shared vision, and I think Ubuntu should be a Malawi cultural heritage. We should have Ubuntu run a resilient, equitable, resilient, and efficient procurement system. You need legs to translate any procurement strategy and policy to fair, effective procurement. Community based society like Malawi, a leader is a system. That is ethical leadership. That's why ethical leadership matters. It's not a job. Unlike in a system-based society, system matters more than leadership. You mess with a system, you are finished. That's a system-based society. Procurement ethics does create context, moral capital, environment, identity, and character that can influence professional integrity and quality. Procurement training cannot be separated from ethics without causing harm, and it is costly and often destructive if you don't integrate procurement with ethics. Moral standards and professional integrity are declining due to lack of investment in the value and evidence-based procurement systems, organizational ethical environment, ethical culture, etc. So this is what I prepared. I just wanted to go now to it takes 10 minutes. I came up this up. This up because I found that globally quality of decision making has gone down. So I developed with my team what called app. I discovered that even the app which we're using, Facebook, Google, search and all that, machine learning, they're just looking at preferences. They look what you like and they give it. When a child types porno, it gives more porno. You have seen that? Whether it doesn't say whether it is right or good. So you go to porno page, it gives you porno. It gives you, when you go to spiritual Bible, it gives more Bible. So it's about preference. The data analytics are not based on right or wrong or good or bad. It's based on your preferences. So the whole marketing business is looking to look more preferences. What can we give? What does this person likes? I will give what he likes. Not what is good or what is. So I discovered this, I'm patenting it with my team, and we start. So we go together and see how can you see? Okay. So we go together. We want to make a decision in procurement. Suppose we are policy makers, we want to make a decision, we can choose now. For example, I would go, because I'm in drug, so we can say, can we choose one thing which we want to make decision? Make decision in, we want to procure, where should we put your money and procure? Female condom or male condom? Or AstraZeneca or Pfizer? Which one is better? Which one should we? Pfizer, AstraZeneca, yeah? Not about the condom one. Okay. So the benchmark is a value-based. I've said you can make decision emotionally. This you can use it for a benchmark tool. You can make decision for everything, even to say whom should I marry. You can have the values which you want to put and say, and enter the man's score. So now we're going to start. We have said we want to say, this is decision which I'm telling you, it happened. Malawi had to choose where should we put our money, which one should we use in Malawi, between Pfizer or AstraZeneca. The benchmark you can use, you can compare 1 million things, and it will rank them within seconds. And I've benchmarked this with Oxford and etc. So let's go move on. So you can, it's on Google, on internet. So I need just to benchmark can be used in the procurement, human resource, where should you, whom should you, if you are recruiting about, for example, in military, you have to recruit, you are recruiting 20 people, 20,000 people come, you need 1,000. It helps you to learn things. The values or vices. The second one, you use weights, the weighting. And the third one, you can use evidence, experience, facts. Yeah, now we are there. We need to choose the sector where we're going to make decisions. It's a procurement, isn't it? Yeah, so we tick and then we move on. So we have ticked the sector is procurement. Then we can say, when you want to measure the quantity of a drug, you have got what we call core values. These are values which, when you are making decisions, are core, are necessary. And then you have got auxiliary values which are supporting values. So in medicine, for example, you cannot talk about quality of medicine, don't talk about efficacy. Is it? So you cannot, when you buy this medicine, you say, how much is it effective? For efficacy is number one. So we can go and say, okay, efficacy. Number two, you want to say, is it safe? Number three, is it acceptable? Acceptable is when you are making, if you are taking 10 tablets per day, it's different when you are taking 1 tablet per day. So that's acceptability. So that is acceptable. Then you can also talk about either value for money, or can also call about affordability. What should we say? Cost effectiveness or affordability? Okay, we just say cost effective. So according to Bengo, the core value should be 5, and the maximum 5. You can only take. Then we can also talk about equity. If it is there, or just okay. Let's move on because of time. Then it gives you which are supporting values for you to implement AstraZeneca. You need a political will, isn't it? Yeah. So we choose political will. But also we can say religion or gender. So religion, you need, because it's vaccine, some religion will say no vaccine. So you can talk about the religion, isn't it? Religion, or you can talk about gender. That's every woman. I don't know. We can choose. Which one should we take? Okay, we can take religion. So we can do like that. Then we need to go and say with. We need to type the things which we are comparing. So now we're comparing Pfizer. So this that is done automatically when it is in the database. For efficacy or efficacy of Pfizer is 95. Everybody knows it. 95%. Safety is also around 95. Acceptability is about 65. Cost effectiveness we can take as 75. Political will, I think you can say 95. It's so high on vaccines. You can say like that. Religion, we can say it was low. So we can say 40% of religious people were accepting the. Okay. Okay. 20. Okay. So it tells you, do you want to compare with another one? He said yes. Then you go to AstraZeneca. Astra. And AstraZeneca, the efficacy was lower. It's 85. Safety is around the same area. 85. Acceptability, the same like cost effectiveness 65. acceptability 65. We can say 55. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So procurement, you can do that the same. And then when you click here, it tells you all how it was scored. It gives you a record within a short time. You are in a procurement committee. Within a short time, it will give you a report. How you made a decision, how you scored within a short time. When somebody will ask you, how did you come to this decision? You can just send them a report. Oh, transparency. Transparency. And then you have got graphs here to tell you how each part has performed. And for policymakers, if you have to choose, you can say, even if the pressure to make a decision is not only local, even donors can push you to say, buy AstraZeneca. You can say, no, according to Malawi, this is the score. So you go to AstraZeneca, it gives you the score. Then you can wrong click. And it will show you the comparison of both, side by side. So you can have 3, 4, 5 side by side, how they've scored each of one side by side. So this candidate, you can do it even for interview. This candidate scored this candidate scored this, you have got 2. It shows a report. Within a short time, you have got a report. After the interviews or after the procurement meeting, you don't say, oh, can we write notes? It's already, we just press the button, it gives a report automatically to the database. They just print it and give to say this is how we made a decision. This tool is in demand. When we discovered it, we thought that it was a joke. Now we discovered that you can also make decision. You can say, we made the decision based on evidence. So the score, efficacy for around